I just want to reflect a little bit on the role of independent advisors or fractional CEOs and CFOs. Now, I'm connected to a
Mm.
couple of organizations that do that, and they do it
Yeah.
very well. How do you think they should play and perform in that role that can contribute to a good value for a business?
John, I mean, that's a really great question. So I just want to draw a distinction over here is, a lot of businesses understand the need to have an accountant. Okay. So an accountant or a bookkeeper, and that makes sure, that, you keep your taxes up to date. You dealt with your compliance things, you do your payroll, all of that. I think the point you're making, this word sort of fractional, talks to what's traditionally known as kind of, it's a different role that they play. So a fractional CFO doesn't generally, do the books, do the accounting, do the tax. Fractional expertise are usually when you get expertise around like slightly more senior level roles, who're thinking strategically about the business. And in a small business, maybe traditionally you wouldn't be able to afford, so if, you might not be able to afford to have a full-time CFO on your books. Okay. But just having access to somebody like that, maybe 2 days a week, 2 days a month, to actually take a step away from the business. Okay, cool. What do your budgets look like? What plans do you have? How are you going to, get that growth? A fractional marketing person, for argument's sake. Now, for a lot of small, medium businesses, to have a full marketing team might be out of reach for them, or even a marketing agency might be out of reach for them. A lot of the marketing agencies are geared towards your bigger corporates and what have you. So having a seasoned marketing professional who can help you put together a plan to, I don't know, create exposure on LinkedIn or a route to market, for instance, can be super, super helpful. Okay. What you're doing there is you're paying, and the last point I want to make is a fractional CFO has usually got expertise across multiple businesses. So it's not just one. So if you've got the right one, they're often able to say, take learnings from other businesses and apply that into your business. Okay. So you might be, selling widgets, but they've got another business which is good at, in the restaurant industry, for instance, and they might be able to kind of share with you some of the learnings from that industry and how you can apply it in your industry. So that's really the power of a fractional person, is to help you take a step back, to help you as a CEO work on the business rather than in the business. Okay. And kind of help give you direction. And from a valuation point, why this is really important is they kind of focus on what are the big levers that you need to pull. And valuation's a little bit like that too, right? You need to know what are the 3 or 4 things that you can do to increase the value of your business over time. And the fractionals usually keep you at that level of engagement. It's kind of, if you want to think about it in corporate terms, it's like your exco or your board. And they give you that direction. The last thing I'll say is being an entrepreneur, often as and we deal mainly in the small and medium business space, so in dollar terms, it's $2 to $20 million businesses. In South African terms, it's probably, 5 to 50 million rand businesses. It can be very, very lonely, and you feel like as a business owner, you're making all the decisions and you're carrying all that risk. So having other fractionals at your level of understanding, you can engage them at that sort of emotional level, that more strategic level that you can't always do with, the people in your team necessarily if they're not operating at that level.
Yeah, I think the beauty is also that you're bringing in someone to assist you to work on the business. Because oftentimes a CEO, a person that works 24 hours for the business, is involved in the business. They're running around, they're in the day-to-day, in the trenches. But an external person coming in is coming from that higher level. They're coming from that strategic point of view. And like you said, they're working with multiple clients. They might have seen the same issue at another client and they've got a quick solution. Sometimes
100%.
we're too close to the problem to come up with a solution, and we get consultants in and they drive us crazy, where as if you'd had a fractional person, fractional CFO, fractional CEO on board, they see these things and they can solve it very quickly for you.
Yeah, that's spot on. And I just want to make one point is, unfortunately, the word fractional gets used like quite glibly now. Everyone wants a title, so it's fractional CFO. And if you are selecting a fractional executive to help you, you need to do your homework. You need to make sure that, I'm an accountant, so I can talk about it. It's not just a bookkeeper who does part-time books. That's very different to a fractional CFO. So you need to make sure that you're getting that person at that level. And it's always critical, I know you're all about networking, is to do your reference checks, talk to other people who've worked with this person. How have they contributed? How do they work? Because at that level, your fractional see something, it's as much about their competence, but also about the sort of chemistry that exists between you and them and the level of accountability and all those things. So those are the kinds of things when you're selecting a fractional executive, you need to reference check it. You need to question them. You need to ask the right questions, and don't just take somebody on because they've got fractional CFO or fractional marketing officer behind their name.